Austin, the 23-9, the gap that you guys were able to create there in the third, just to kind of turn things around in the second half. What were you guys feeling clicking that worked well on both ends?
I'm sick of this man. What turnaround? Turn that music off, bro. Yeah, no, I just didn't think we played well in the first half. Came in, coach challenged us to be better, and y'all see what I go through around here? This is every day. No, I just thought, coach came in and challenged us, and, we responded in that third quarter.
JJ was talking about how through granted 10 games, the growing trust, it feels like it's been there, something that he said was promising, and the connectedness between not just players, but players and coaching staff. How have you seen that, develop over the past couple months?
Yeah, you wish it was smooth sailing the whole time. Obviously, you're gonna go through ups and downs, and I think not playing well on that road trip might have been a good thing for us to completely buy into what we need to do to be successful, and I feel like these coaches are putting us in positions to be successful, and when we buy in and do it, good things happen. And even if it's a game plan adjustment, they'll come in and say, we messed up, we need to do this instead, and everybody's kind of just holding each other accountable. So it's a beautiful thing to see.
You said JJ challenged you at halftime. What did he challenge you to do other than change the score?
Just compete harder, and stick to our system and trust that. And I feel like that's what we did. We found a couple things in that third quarter that was working, and we kept running them, and gained a lead, and kind of just didn't look back from there.
Midway through the third, and the one possession game is always a high leverage situation, but to have that moment coincide with your MVP and AD going out, just what'd you notice about the way everybody kind of seemed to chip in from there, even more so?
I thought Jaxson was amazing, not especially that third quarter on. I thought that he played probably one of his best games he's played since he's been here. Being active defensively, being a scorer in the pocket, rebounder. I thought he did a lot of really good things, and then I thought Cam once again stepped up and played really good basketball. But I thought it was just a collective group. You're never gonna fill AD's shoes with one person because he does so much for us. But if you collectively do it, you can get it done.
You just said your level of compete has been higher defensively the past couple of games. Is this something you guys had a one-on-one conversation about, or something you guys discussed?
Yeah, he set me down before last game and showed me some clips of, some defensive clips that I was not competing on, and that's not me. I kind of hang my hat on playing hard every possession, and in that road trip there was a couple instances where I wasn't, and he set me down, showed it to me, and I appreciated it because it's like I love being coached and respect what he's got to say, and then once you see it, you can't argue it. Before, I could have probably made something up to why it wasn't my fault, but sitting in front of the computer screen and it looks as bad as it looked, you can't make anything up.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Austin. Whether it was the way you guys closed out the first half or the 23-9 over the final 6.5 minutes in the third, what was clicking as you guys were able to turn this thing around?
We got back in transition one. We held them to one shot in the second half, and then we executed offensively. Got the shots that we wanted, and that helps build a lead.
Obviously, you guys know how important AD is. To outscore them by 23 in the 17 minutes without him. You told Trudell about the added responsibility for yourself. What was required particularly that you felt in that moment?
Obviously, AD is a big-time rebounder, so I have to pick up some of the slack with the defensive rebounding. And then, with AD out and taking a lot of eyes off AD because he's putting so much pressure on the defense this season, that now eyes get shifted to other guys. So now I'll take some of that responsibility as well. So something I've been able to do for quite a while. So it's not hard for me to be able to tap into that, even though that's not kind of been my role this year so far.
What was that moment with the fans to get that final rebound? Speaking of rebounds down the stretch, and you point at them.
Well, yeah, he definitely yelled at me, got my attention, said, "One more rebound." I was like, "What?" He was like, "One more." So I got one more, and I pointed at him to acknowledge that I was listening. So I appreciate it to that guy over there.
Cam had a steal, and then he finished on the other end midway through the third when kind of you guys were looking a little stagnant, and then he had a corner 3-2. Obviously, when his number was called in Detroit, you kind of made some plays too. What lift has he given you guys in the last week?
His energy, he's just very selfless, and his ability to defend on the perimeter is very, very key for our ball club. I mean, like I said the other night with Vando being out, it takes one of our primary, perimeter guys, defenders that we know we can just key in on a certain matchup. And now with Cam being and inserting back into the lineup, into the fray of things, we know we have that one guy on the perimeter that's okay. That's your matchup tonight. Make it tough on him, and Cam takes that responsibility.
When he arrived in LA, that wasn't necessarily what he'd been asked to do in other stops of his NBA career back in college. How have you seen him kind of adopt that as this is who I am? This is who I am as a professional basketball player.
He's more than that, and he showed that tonight. Getting a steal, getting a layup, finishing at the end of the third, off a closeout, finishing at the rim with that layup to give us a big boost, hitting some threes as well. So he's more than a defender, but I think he's smart enough to know, him, what he means to this team and how he's going to be on the floor, and we respect that and we love that. Like I say, he's just a selfless player.
LeBron, JJ was just talking about the trust building process between players and coaches, players, vice versa, and stuff like that. You guys have talked a lot about crashing, transition defense, not being stagnant on offense, and then the first quarter, kind of all those things didn't really happen for you guys. How promising is it that you guys were adaptable and you were able to kind of recapture the stuff you were supposed to do on the night when you didn't have it?
It's a 48-minute game. You don't want to. Obviously, you want to be as great as you can be throughout 48 minutes, but you don't. You just stay kind of even keel. And that's. I've learned that over my career. Just kind of stay even keel, and if you keep working on the habits, you keep doing what you need to do. I think the game would turn around, and I think we did that. We did that towards the end of the first half. Big time 3 by D'Lo to close that half out. And then, after the first couple minutes of the third, we was able to start ramping it back up defensively and offensively. So it's a good step for us.
You're a guy who can affect the game by putting the ball in the basket. You can affect it by getting your teammates involved. It feels like you prefer the latter. That's more fun for you.
Doing it all.
The passing.
It's always been my biggest threat. I've always got a kick out of seeing my teammates succeed and being able to attract defenses and being able to read and just try to put the ball on time on target. If it's towards the rim, I was able to catch Jax for a couple lobs at the rim, hit AR for a couple threes, find Cam, find guys. But that's always my my basketball pleasure, being able to just kind of read the game and put the ball, like I said, for guys just to be able to just catch, shoot, lay up, dunk, whatever it is.
Last two.
Now that you have a 10-game sample size, how do you evaluate the team's progress through this undefeated homestand as well as the challenging road trip?
I really don't. It's every day, every game. We want to continue to get better. I'm not giving sample sizes or thinking we played well tonight, and we need to play well again on Wednesday. A team that just beat us not too long ago. So we need to be ready for what they bring to the table on Wednesday.
Last question.
LeBron, you obviously heard a lot about the historical nature of what you're doing with Bronny this season, but back-to-back triple-doubles, you're turning 40 next month. It's pretty historical in its own right, outside of the context of you and your son. Have you had a chance to, kind of let it sink in or think about just what you're doing right now and how unprecedented it is?
No, I haven't. It's just pretty cool that with the amount of miles I've put on the tires and the lack of tread that's on these tires, and I'm still able to get up and down the highway and do it at a high level. And I think I just try to give everything to the game outside of the game before the game even starts, if that makes sense. So I arrive here 4 or 5 hours before the game, and I'm already starting to, do all the things to put me in position to be the best I can be when the fans are in here and the ball is tipped and everybody's going crazy, So I've been blessed by the man above with some out of this world ability from the beginning, and then I just took full advantage of it, and I wasn't going to disrespect what he's given me, and we'll see how long I can do it. But I won't do it till the wheels fall off. I tell you that. I won't do that. I won't be one of those guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Jaxson, you had the kind of the bulk of your production in that fourth quarter and kind of late in the third. JJ specifically pointed out your energy in that instance. Once AD goes out, do you know you have to ramp it up a little bit further?
Oh, for sure. I mean, currently right now it's just me and him as our 2 5s for real. So as soon as I saw him down, I knew I had to start getting ready and just prepare for that.
What's the art of offensive rebounding for you? What are the things that you're thinking about? And obviously, aside from just going to get the basketball, are there certain things that you focus on?
For me, it's just more about getting in position. I try to get my position in, or just get like at least right behind the person, hold them, because I know I can out jump most people. So I just try to get my position and then just out jump them.
And then how about defensively? And again, especially with AD out, and you're playing with that starting group, and LeBron and Austin, and everybody. What was key for you defensively in that fourth quarter stretch?
Really just communication. Trying to pick up where A left off. He's such a presence down there by the hoop and as a rim protector. So I got to pick up where he leaves off and just pick up that gap for us.
Jaxson, just speaking with JJ, yeah, right. Speaking with JJ, he mentioned that he's been encouraged by your guys' defense, but he also said what's been promising is the responsiveness to adjustments, the trust that's building between players and also players and coaching staff. What's been your read on that in terms of the trust and how quick you guys are to respond to maybe feedback or whatever the coaching staff tells you?
Yeah, I mean, we got a really coachable team, guys who all want to come out and win, guys who all want to compete. So I feel like whenever constructive criticism is given for anybody on both ends, everyone wants to correct that and just come out and be better.
Right here in the front. Hey, thank you for your time tonight. You've been in the league for a few years, so being ready when your name is called is not new. What is something you tell yourself to kind of be consistent in that area?
I just always tell myself, know my matchup, know who, I got to know the starting big, the backup big, the third string big. So if anyone comes in, I know what I'm doing. I got to know the guards if I get switched on to a guard. So for me, it's just know your personnel and just stay ready, stay locked in. I mean, you never know when your name's going to get called. You never know if somebody's going to get hurt or something. So, you just got to stay locked in at all times. That's my whole thing.
Jaxson, I know back during Media Day, you mentioned how one of the things you were working on was, having the ball in your hands, making decisions in the short roll. But it kind of seems like, your roles, a little bit moving without the ball, whether that's, back cuts or, rolling off the pick and roll. Just kind of, what goes into that in terms of, what are you seeing out there in terms of being able to kind of get behind the defense like that and be active?
I'm just trying to find openings in the defense, force overs in my screens, and just get behind the defense on my rolls, and then I just try to look at spots where I can just sprint down the floor because I know my athleticism and my speed is going to help me compared to most of the other bigs. Because obviously I'm not as big as Jakob Poeltl or somebody like that. So I know I got to beat him how I can, which is my speed.
Jaxson, there was a stretch of back-to-back dunks where you just looked like you were having a lot of fun out there. Can you just take us through what you saw out there and just, the joy of the game?
Yeah. God blessed me with a lot of amazing things. And so, every day I get to come out here and play the game I love, I'm going to enjoy it. So, that's my whole thing. I just caught a big whiff of energy from the guys. We started making that little comeback, and that was really it for me. I just love it. I just love gaming. That's it.
Jack, I was just going to piggyback off that. How cool is it to play with guys like that that's going to give you that feedback off the energy like that? You know what I'm saying? And I know that kind of, brings more energy, allow you to play better as well.
Yeah, it always helps. We talk about energy finds the ball. That's our little saying. Energy finds the ball, and energy finds the plays. And so, we just all want to come in and bring that energy, and especially a close game like that, how it was earlier. I just wanted to come in and bring that energy and trying to change the game a little bit for us and just get us going.
Just how easy does LeBron make the game for you? Like, he had 16 assists tonight, and to piggyback off that, like, did you ever imagine, like, when you were growing up in, in the Ohio area that you'd be, catching lobs from LeBron one day?
Shoot, I mean, he makes the game so easy. We'll be at a timeout, he'll tell me where to go, and then next thing you know, we come out the timeout, I got a drop-off dunk, and so, he just knows the game so well, and, like, he's going to pass, and he's going to find you if he has 2 or 3 guys on him. So, it's just great playing with him. And then, obviously, I grew up a huge Bron fan. I drive up 3-4 hours from Cincinnati to Cleveland, go catch his games. And so, obviously, it's awesome catching drop-offs and oops from him. Thanks, guys.
Hey, D'Angelo, when AD went out, you guys were down 3, and you really went on a run end of the third and throughout the fourth. How did you come together and kind of sustain that level of play for the rest of the game?
I think everybody just stepped up.
One thing in the second half, Toronto's guards and a lot of teams are trying to do this with you and with Austin, like really pressuring 94 feet, picking up, and you both have been kind of beating that pressure at times. Is that a key for a guard if they're going to press you that much? That's kind of get by and get into the lane.
Just take what you can get. They forcing you to do something, just take it. It's kind of like checking down as a quarterback. Just keep checking down.
What did you see? You said everybody kind of stepped up around that, but what did you see specifically from LeBron in that stretch?
Man, he's just dominating the game from every cylinder, from assist, rebounding, passing, leading. Look like a modern day LeBron right there.
Hey, D'Angelo, I actually have a question about Dalton. For a young guy, when he's kind of just getting his career going and it doesn't necessarily, start off how he wants it to, is there any, advice you give to him or words of encouragement to kind of help get him going?
Yeah, every young player in the league, wants it right away. The basketball gods have a funny way of disguising those blessings. So for him, just know that, your time's coming, just be ready. I think he'll be ready when his time comes.
D'Lo, how do you feel like your voice as a leader, as a teammate, has grown since you first joined the league?
I've just been around the block. I've crossed paths with a lot of players. I always pride myself in being a product of that. So I crossed paths with Steph Curry and may have heard him say something and added it to my toolbox, and then used it in another way down the line. I found a way to use the same sentences or quotes that I heard him say, and I could say that for Draymond and LeBron and D Wade and Kobe and all those guys. So just being a product of that environment for sure.
D'Lo, yesterday you were courtside for the South Bay Lakers game. What did you see, and what do you make of Quincy Oliveri's game? And he mentioned you as a look to for motivation and kind of just inspiration as well.
I just told him to stay humble. He honestly looked like he was too good for being out there, respectfully. But I know how that can, get you high and then have a bad game and then get you low. It's what it is. So I just told him to stay even keel. All those guys dominated the game. Bronny was solid. Q obviously dominated. Max Lewis, AT, both of those guys, all those guys were, effective and, they looked hungry. So just keeping that hunger.
D'Lo, we've spoken to you in here about flow state and when you kind of hit that spot and hit that groove. It felt like LeBron hit it as a playmaker in the second half. You've been in that zone too. What's that like when you're seeing the cuts and everything sort of materialize like that? And as a teammate, what was it like to watch LeBron kind of orchestrate as a passer?
It was hard to watch it because I'm in it. So I was kind of, just making plays, trying to be in the action or get somebody else open or capitalize. They got to guard him. They were switching. They were helping off guys, trying to stop him. So you got too many guys around him to just focus on him. So I think we tried to, attack that on the backside and make them pay.
Sorry to follow up real quick. When you guys have been at your best offensively, it feels like at times this year, like so much of it comes off of cutting and kind of creating shots without having the ball and stuff like that. What's the trust in that aspect of what JJ's asking you to do in terms of easy buckets and how valuable are those, on a night-to-night basis?
it makes our job easier when you can commit to the system and, make plays out of the system or within the system. So now when we show up and play anybody, we're not worried about who we're playing, we're worried about how we play. And obviously it's early, trying to figure out our system and be consistent in it. And tonight was a product of it. You saw everybody kind of involved and cutting off of guys and being rewarded as well.
D'Lo, we spoke with JJ and Austin before you came here. JJ mentioned that he's been the team's responsiveness has been promising, and Austin mentioned that how even guys, though you guys don't want to lose the road trip and the ups and downs of it could ultimately help you guys down the road. What have you seen from this group in terms of trust and one another, players, but also the coaching staff and the responsiveness to adjustments and cleaning things up, not just game to game, but even within games?
That's a broad question. If I can leave you with something, I think once again you just want to commit to that system that coaches are trying to implement. It makes everybody's job easier. It makes us. It allows us to see how they're guarding us early. Allows us to see how their teams are guarding us from game to game. I think the 82 games in the regular season, people forget what that's for, and I think it's our team is preparing for the postseason with these 82 games. We're trying to get better every game. We're trying to see how teams are going to guard us. We're trying to see what we can do, to prepare ourselves for the postseason because it's all unfamiliar. So just committing to it, committing to what the coaches are trying to implement, and it'll help us be prepared later on down the line.
And to follow with that, at risk of being another broad question, but along the same lines, like in a team building process in the league, you have guys at different stages of their career, different ages, different contract situations. What's like kind of the extra sauce that allows that to come together and actually all pull in the same direction versus have the individual stuff pop up?
I mean, I think if we could find a way to be unselfishly selfish, I think that'll help us be, to help our guys that are supposed to be selfish and more, hungry for what they're trying to do. It's easy for us to follow. It's easy for us to follow those guys. Obviously, Austin and AD and Bron carrying the load allows us, supporting cast, to be that much more effective because now we see teams have to guard those guys. They have to adjust. They have to game plan. And then we just got to be ready. Guys like myself, Dalton, Jax, Rui, getting guys healthy, Gabe. So it's a lot of opportunity.
Thanks, D'Lo.
Cool.
Anybody else?
Hey, JJ, just first of all, do you know anything more about AD and how his eye's doing?
I just know that he got poked in it. He was having trouble seeing. Obviously, take a little trauma to the eye. It takes a little bit of time to sort of get your clear vision back. But other than that, no update.
When he went out, you guys were down 3, and kind of later in that third quarter, there were a couple big defensive rebounds from LeBron, and just as an example of the things he did, it seemed like kind of step up. What did you see from him and the rest of the team to find a way after that?
LeBron took control of the game, and not just with scoring the basketball, defensively, with his rebounding, his playmaking. Really, you're in that situation, and AD goes out, and it requires more from everyone else. And Jaxson stepped up to that moment, played both ends of the court, and gave us a few extra possessions. Just his energy, I thought, really uplifted the group. But, the bench itself tonight, you think about, we were flat in the first half. D'Lo gave us a lift. We executed another 3 for 2 at the end of the first half to sort of get some momentum. And then Gabe, Dalton, Jaxson off the bench in the second half were great.
JJ, in this setting over the past 20 years, it's been a pretty common question to LeBron opposing coaches, like, what's the harder version of him to stop, the scorer or the distributor? now that you're coaching him? Did you have an opinion of that as a player, and now that you're coaching him, do you have a preference?
His score.
JJ, I know we've talked a little bit about causation versus correlation and whatnot, but with Austin, we've seen this sort of explosion offensively the last couple of games with Cam in the starting lineup and him taking those primary perimeter assignments. What have you seen from him these last couple of games with the new starting lineup, and what has that allowed him to do offensively?
Well, first of all, his level of compete on the defensive end has been better for both these games. And it's not like he's taking the night off. He's still got to guard the other team's second best perimeter guy. And I just think it starts with that. That's his mindset, is to compete. It's something that I thought, I think he talked about it with you guys after Friday's game. It's something we talked about. It's just like there was a few stretches of games on that road trip where it just wasn't there. That as a coach, that's surprising, because it's something that I sort of trust night to night with our group, is that Austin's going to go out there and he's going to compete. The first half tonight was just a weird sort of game. We couldn't really get into our offense. A lot of that was Davion Mitchell. Just, at times we were having to bring the ball up with AD. And so we really were kind of stagnant and didn't have a lot of thrusts in the half court. And that affected, I think, Austin on the offensive end. And then he had two stretches there in the second half, one to start and then one sort of to finish, that flurry to finish, where we were getting the matchups we wanted. The ball was moving. Obviously, LeBron was drawing a lot of bodies, and AR was able to take advantage of that.
JJ, kind of to what you just spoke on with AD had to bring the ball up during certain stretches. I think it was in the second, just to alleviate the ball handling. How helpful are those reps, just in terms of, when opposing teams are pressuring the way they were, for you guys to be able to switch up the offense a little bit in that way, but still go through the
Yeah, I mean, we have stuff we can do out of that, and we made the adjustment. And towards the end of the second quarter, we were better. But what that does, and it's one of the reasons, we want Cam to pick up full court and Gabe to pick up full court and Max Christie to pick up full court, is it takes away seconds from the shot clock. And what that did in the first half for us is it disorganized us to start, and then we constantly it felt like we were playing late in the shot clock. And that's not necessarily how we want to play consistently, but I thought we were able to get into some stuff that gave us good offense with him coming in that trail position.
Hey, JJ, now that you have a 10-game sample size, what would you say your comfort level is with the team's progress so far?
Excited about our defense the last two games. Excited about our defense the last two games. The thing that I would say with our group that is very promising, and it hasn't been 100%, and I don't think there's a team in the NBA that it's 100%, but the thing that's promising is that whether it's been a day in between games and it's a film session, a practice where we need to work on some things and clean some things up, a halftime adjustment, a carryover from shoot around, things we emphasize, they're really, really responsive. I think there's a trust that is building with each other as players, and the trust that's building between the players and the staff. Holistically, in terms of our offense, our defense, look, there's a long way to go with all that stuff. That, to me, is more exciting, I think.
JJ, defense is exciting for you. Transition defense is also the thing that LeBron told Mike Trudell that he wants to see this team work on over this next couple of games against teams that are struggling, against teams that have injured players. What are you looking to see there, particularly because it looked like you guys really improved in that in the second half?
Yep. That was something Friday. That was all we talked about pregame in our meeting. That was all our film session was. Our guys responded. I believe it was our second best transition defense game of the year, and overall we were better tonight. It was something we talked about at halftime with the guys. I think it was three transition points in the second half. They killed us on the glass in the first half. We talked about gang rebounding, 3 offensive rebounds in the second half. We talked about, protecting our paint. I think they had 12 paint points in the second half. Again, like they're responsive to the things we want, and I believe this in my heart. NBA players want to be coached, and our group wants to be coached, and they're coachable. And that for us is big picture, player, staff, one team type thing. That is what I'm talking about with that trust building.